Oh, we're gonna let it flow. All right.
Let it
Here we
flow.
go.
Ooh, I did change my name to Self Fairy.
Yeah, I know. I noticed that. I love that. Welcome, everybody. I am Shane McCarthy, the H2 water expert. We are here for another episode of H2 Hydration and Health. Maria, the Self Fairy, she's back. She's been traveling around. She is doing awesome things. She just got back from a really cool weekend, and we've been overdue for a chat to talk about what we're doing to, help ourselves from a cellular level out. And yeah, how are you?
Here we are. I'm magnificent, to say the least.
I
You
like
know,
that.
so what I've been realizing lately is how hydrogen water really actually, my whole thing is like your limitless self fully expressed in your everyday life. What does that look like? How do you access that the quickest and most efficient way to then portray your magic like into the world? And we know we're obsessed with cellular health. And the thing about your cells is like, you know, they are actually like a vibrating universe that have so much potential in them. And when we look at them as just like, oh, this little thing that creates energy that we need to support, it's like you're literally missing the whole point. And so this weekend, what I realized when you're energetically like identity leaping, a lot of people have this like crash where they feel like they're dying. They feel like they just ran a marathon. They feel like they need to take like 7 days to rejuvenate. And what I've realized is that hydrogen water is literally the magic that allows you to not have any of that repercussion. Because when you're hydrating your body on a cellular level, you're allowing those teeny weeny hydrogen molecules to go in and to repattern all of those patterns that you just released from your like neural units, like your neural pathways, like they must go out somewhere. And if you're not supporting your cells, because that's the whole point, it's like your cells have these, like your DNA is not fixed, it can be recoded. And when you're recoding your DNA, yeah, it's like you need the cellular support. And I'm sorry, but reverse osmosis with minerals is not it. And I want things fast and I want them now and I want them to work. And
Mhm.
drinking hydrogen water, like my tablets that I brought on my trip, and then coming home and rehydrating with this hydrogen water, I feel like there is nothing that could have been more efficient in like supporting my body through that like energetic upgrade. So it's like when people are in the manifestation community or the like rebranding your identity community, like if you bring hydrogen into this, you are going to catapult yourself so much faster because of how the hydrogen is repatterning your cells like in real time. And I feel like I'm just like on crack all the time because like seriously, like I'm drinking hydrogen water, I'm identity upgrading, and it's like if it's that's it. Like that's the quantum, like that's literally what the answer is. And it's
It's so funny
insane.
because you're creating the most epic, incredible things, but at the same time, you're also like David after dentist, and you're sitting here like, is this real life? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if you recognize that clip or not.
Is this real
But
life?
yeah,
Yes. But
yeah,
that's what
no,
it
but
is.
yeah,
It's insane.
it is. It can be confusing, but I like how you reference that with hydrogen and how it, because I mean it enhances everything, and it's
Yeah,
I say that it allows you to get out of your own way.
it
One of the
literally
things,
does.
from a physiological standpoint, I will tell you first and foremost that hydrogen doesn't heal or cure anything.
No.
It just allows your body to get
Yeah.
to where it can do it itself because
Yep.
we are way more powerful on every body that we have physical, energetic, mental, spiritual, and a lot. One get yourself into alignment on all those, starting from a cellular. You mentioned the universe and the cell, and it's like every cell is an entire universe.
Yeah.
If you actually look at what a healthy, vibrant cell looks like on the inside, it looks like a healthy, vibrant community. You know, it's not just your cell.
No.
There's a whole bunch of shit that's happening inside of that cell to hopefully keep it in balance. And that's kind of what's happened with our world.
Yeah.
Is we've let the bad shit get out of balance,
right.
And we need to reestablish that balance. We all want to get rid of the evil that is in this world, but I mean, you kind of got to look at it as like a yin yang type of thing. There's, we're just moving from the primarily black part where there's a little circle of white of the darkness is surrounding the light, but the light has now, that little circle has now gotten so big that it's shifting, but that little black part will still be there. It's part of keeping things, in check, essentially.
Yeah.
Not a bad thing. It's just it's part of it. In your body, that's just like there's good free radicals there. It's to a degree when things are in balance, but that's it's all part of a healthy, vibrating system.
Yeah, and that's the thing, we were talking about like parasite cleanses earlier, and it's like, so the funny part about parasites, like in my deep dive into like my own relationship with myself and the quantum and God and just being a functional medicine RN, there is literally good in everything, and parasites are actually very good creatures to be in your body. And the reason why they're good is because they actually are supposed to engulf the heavy metals and engulf these toxins, so then your body's actually protected from them, and then when you need to release them, like, you're able to. But the problem is that we're so disconnected from ourselves, or we have health issues, we're overweight, we're not exercising, we're not doing all these things, but at the root of it, it's like, really, it's because you have abandoned yourself, and then your body is out of coherence, because like what hydrogen does is, like you said, it allows your body to go back into coherence. So then the hormones are produced, the testosterone is produced, the energy is produced, the liver is able to filter out the pints of blood per minute easily, and there's no blocks within it. So hydrogen isn't curing you. Hydrogen is allowing your cell to repattern in real time to then do what it's supposed to do. And that's why, like, parasite cleanses, if there is a time and a place with it, if you're doing it from a place because you're so riddled with parasites, and then you shock your system, that's why people feel like they're dying, because detoxes are not designed to be utilized in that way in the first place.
Yeah. I'm going to throw this out there that, that might offend some people, but
ooh, we love that. We love to offend the people.
You got to be careful with the parasite cleanses, because you got to understand that we are parasites ourselves. But in our world, we have free will to decide whether, because we consume. Look at most people. They're here to consume. They don't give a shit. And they just come here, live their lives, and get out, and taking everything that they can with them. But we have the free will and choice to be a good parasite.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you want to consider it, like we are a cell within a cell. I choose to be the stem cell. Yeah. I choose to be the cell that comes in and just makes everything better. That's what hydrogen as a molecule does. It just comes in and makes everything better. And this is actually making a lot of sense, because of like the as within, so without type of thing. Life very much is a mirror reflection of what you're going, like what's going on the inside. Not in like absolute direct relation, but almost kind of in how the Bible works, in parables. It's like it's kind of.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. That's so
Because I've been playing around with like, are we in a simulation, or are we in a movie, or what? Because I'm like, okay, if we're in a movie, or if we're in a video game, and we're the player, the character in the video game, but we're not actually being the player of the character, then that would mean that we're being a non-player character, and don't be a non-player character. And like, but I kind of relate it to like somebody asked me about Antarctica. Like,
yeah. Oh my
I'll
God.
get the tinfoil hat out.
I went down a rabbit hole. I don't know how I ended up in this rabbit hole, and it was, it's so like that whole thing in itself is like
That's like a 3-hour podcast.
that's literally like a 10-day podcast.
Yeah, because it makes it very easy for people to go down the flat Earth road, and been there. Like not ever been, like, I'm not a flat earther or anything like that by any means, because I don't believe that either. I think honestly, flat Earth is one of the psyops that they put in there to just make people look stupid,
deter you,
and yeah, exactly, distract, divide and conquer. Because I mean, the thing is that's like, it's a ridiculous conversation, even though when you do look down, it makes a little bit more sense actually than the heliocentric model, but both of them don't make sense to me. We are a cell within a cell. I do, in the Bible, they bring up the firmament. I believe in the firmament. I don't believe we've been to space. I believe that's all part of the lies. But the firmament is the cell membrane.
But like, it literally, it is. And it's so crazy that you said that, because how I get downloads, now, since I have this, I've always had like a very, quirky, because I'm quirky, and that's how like your relationship with the quantum realm and with God and the universe should be. It gets to be like that. And so now when I started first getting like downloads from God, or even like when I would talk to Jesus about things, they're like little, like, they're just one-liners that just like destroy your thought about everything. And it, like, the universe knows that like I love a good one-liner that destroys, because I'm a fire starter, I'm a manifester, like I start the fire. And so that's exactly how, the universe talks to me. And so when I get these downloads, I'm just like, whoa, you're right. That makes no sense. And it'll always come in the form of like, just like either a question, or like, just so you know, like, this is how this is. And I'll be like, that is amazing, and also makes so much freaking sense.
Yeah.
So it's just so funny to like, the matrix and like the cell within a cell, like the cell membrane. So to come back to that, I was sitting on my couch one day, and I just was like thinking about the Earth, and I was like, I've been on this weird rabbit hole, and it's so interesting. And then all I heard was, well, you know how you think that your cells have a universe inside of them? What if you were inside the universe and the atmosphere was a cell membrane? And I was like,
and here we are having this conversation now.
Yeah, like literally recently. And I was just thinking, that's amazing. What? I love that analogy. And then
it makes the most sense to me. Because inside your cell, again, you have a number of different things that are happening. 10,000 different proteins, mitochondria, ATP, phagocytes, which is like the clean up the garbage of the site. Like, and everything is just part of the cell and the overall health and the balance of the cell.
Yeah.
It's just wild. Yeah, it is, and so I mean, if we're gonna continue on this spiritual realm, talking about cells and what's happening, as within, so without. Which, of course, why the hell would we switch conversation now? It's, if you look at it like hydrogen and its ability to come in and permeate the cell membrane. Well, No, that's not to say like because now, of course, to distract everybody from the Epstein files, they're talking about UFOs and UAPs and stuff like that. I'm like, okay. Let's see.
Let's see.
Not out of the equation. Whatever the hell's happening out there in weirdo world is going to happen out there in weirdo world.
Right.
But it's funny.
Weirdo world. I love that. Whatever's happening in weirdo world, and I'll just tell you right now, whatever is happening in my weirdo world is exactly where I want to be, because it's getting freaking weird. It's getting weird in here.
Well, you know what, and I wouldn't have it any other way, because I've seen what normal is, and I want nothing to do with it.
It's so funny that you just said weirdo. I love how we're always on the same like wavelength, because I was I was just seeing like, I've really exploded on my social media. Like my business is like just going crazy, and it's the best experience ever. And it's always what I wanted to do. And it's so funny because I feel so regulated and alive in like starting to create and do this stuff, where it's like, we always are told like, you have to regulate to your next level. You have to regulate to your next level. And then I bust out of the matrix and I was like, what if I was just in my next level? And that felt like regulation. And then I was like, whoa. So that's how I've, started to mentor my community. And the leaps that they're taking is like, mic drop. Like, what? Like, what did you just, what? Yeah. And so that was a detour, but we love a good rabbit hole. What was the point of this? What was the word? Oh, the weirdo. So I have gotten even more like weird on my page, like on my social media. Like I just get weirder. I get weirder. So here's what I asked myself this weekend. I was like, how can I really, like, what is it? Because like now I feel like I'm in the fast lane of like, I am just literally like fully expressing, the version of myself that is it. And it's so funny because that's actually why I like to drink hydrogen water, because the more that you drink hydrogen water, the more that your authentic self actually starts to surface, because you're in your authentic design. And then you feel so alive in yourself because your cells are repatterning with full support of how they're supposed to. And then you can go forth and you can be the weird ass cat that you like want to be, because you're in your like full expression. And that's what I came up with. Like I said that the other day.
You were right. Like, you said mic drop before you even threw something out there that was mic drop, because
is that not like, that's how I feel? Because on my journey, I was like, I was really trying to pinpoint, like, there's so many different things that I've done, but like none of it worked. And then when I started drinking hydrogen water, I actually noticed that one, I didn't have anxiety anymore. Wild. And then two, I realized that I was able to start creating like this life, because it was actually me. And I was like, wait, that makes so much sense, because I love to know, I need to know the why does the hydrogen work? What does it do to my cell? How is it going to actually do this? And once I understood the energetics behind like what your cell actually is, and then my whole business is like literally allowing you to feel like complete and able to express yourself in your limitless identity. The reason why hydrogen does that for you is because it puts your cell in its authentic identity for you to connect with the universe on your weird ass level that you want. And then when I asked, I was like, how can I continue? Because I've gotten pretty freaking weird and I feel great about it. I was like, how can I even continue to go to the next level? How can I continue to fully express like my DNA in its full form, to transmute, like to raise the frequency of the earth? And all I heard in my head was get weirder. Like I literally just heard get weirder. And I was like,
nice.
How can I get weirder? Like, how can I be any weirder? Like, I'm so weird now. And I just kept hearing, get weirder, like get weird. And I was like, but that is exactly the, in my relationship with God and the quantum, that is exactly how it like that's exactly how what you need to say to me in order. I fully understand that. Well, I mean, I don't fully understand that because I don't know how I can get weirder, but I'm going to figure it out. So it's like get weirder, and I'm thinking that sounds really fun
You,
and actually really easy compared to whatever else I was like thinking I needed to do or whatever. And it's like get weirder.
I love that because again, I've seen what normal's like, and that's what we need. We need weird because we need that
Yeah.
jolt to shift us back. So here, I got to show you this because this is just it kind of plays to my point. There we go.
Ah, yes. Ah, the nucleus.
That's a healthy cell.
The
And it's
vegetables.
just you look at the way it all goes around,
Oh my
just the
gosh.
membrane.
Oh, love that.
I think it
All
might
my
be onto something
friends.
there, you know. And so
And think of how many of those are in each part of your organ. Like how many, and
there's
that's again why.
75 trillion cells inside your body. On average, obviously, it's going to be different for everyone. There's different cells. There's stem cells. There's skin
Yeah.
cells. White blood cells. There's cancer cells, and a bajillion other ones. And I also think that there's for humans, there's like literal like templates, and then just different versions of those templates. Like that's why doppelgangers and stuff like that exist. And like oh my god, you look exactly like that person. It's like, well, yeah, you're just a different.
You're
Template.
just a different expression of that.
But inside
Totally.
with your body, we're talking about epigenetics. Every 40 seconds, your
Yeah.
biophotic light system activates and then
Yep.
analyzes and reviews and takes into consideration everything that you're doing, everything that's happening in your life, the thoughts that you have, the people that you hang out with, the foods that you're eating, the water that you drink, the supplements you're taking, so like everything that's going on, and it's reprogramming your DNA. So
Yeah.
like
It
this
literally
is a big
is.
message to everybody that is hanging on to something that's holding them back. One, this is the definition of letting it flow because you have the ability to just make that choice, make that conscious decision to change, and your body will follow suit. This is why the placebo effect works. This is why the nocebo effect works. This is why mindset is everything. Because if you get yourself stuck in that mode, thinking that like identifying with what is holding you back and wondering why you're still being held back,
Right.
it's you gotta be able to let all of that go, or there's people that say, I can't control my thoughts. I'm like, well, you should probably.
You can totally control your thoughts, and you can literally choose to think a different one. And that's what was so offensive to me at first when I like started doing this, and I was like, myself was literally like, you can think something different. And I was like, okay, like what? Like you have it all, like everything is complete right now. And I'm like, what the hell are you saying? What? And then it's like, oh, actually you can, because you can choose to be happy in every single moment, even if everything around you looks like complete dumpster fire. And you're
kind of the world right now.
But like it's always going to look like a dumpster fire. But if you're living in a different reality, then that's your reality. And this is why I love to teach my community. I'm like, I give out nervous system transplants, and it's really efficient because when you get a nervous system transplant, you no longer express the same genetic material. And if you look at this from a science standpoint, the people that have multi-personality disorder are just doing it without conscious like thought. And and I've seen it repattern in the emergency room where someone came in with an expression of heart disease, kidney failure, all these things. And then 30 minutes to an hour later, they came in like they were a completely different person talking about how they like they had side pain and then they exuded appendicitis. And that person was the exact same person sitting in the bed, but it was a completely different expression. So when I started to like look at that, I was like, we're on to something. We're on to something. And that is truly what, and you know, the funny part is like we think things take time, and like some things definitely do take time, but in actuality it really, time is not even linear, and we don't even know,
Yeah.
like not we, like we know
Yeah.
but we don't even understand how time works, because time is not linear. Like everything is actually happening right now, and within the quantum realm, like whatever you're observing is what is repatterning into your reality.
Yeah.
And when you start to actually really understand this, it's like, well, if my expression right now, like if the expression of my DNA is posing this, if there is a version of me that can exist, again, like in the multi-personality disorder, like if you can express something completely different in a moment, and like because when you look at all of the, like if you actually slow down reality, it's like flickering in and out. It's just,
Yeah.
it's like vibrating so fast
Yeah.
that you can't tell. So it's like if you understand that that's how it works, and you're actually like a beam of light. I'm just saying.
Yeah. No,
It's really like
it's
effed
all.
up though
I mean,
to think about.
that's like the Mandela for sure. Because if this is new to you, then you're probably exploding your brain and thinking that we're absolutely bonkers. And in the world that we used to live in, we are. But that's okay, because the world that we do live in is changing and evolving at a very, 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 very rapid rate.
Rapid. That's the
Yeah,
exact word I was thinking of. Rapid.
yeah,
And
it is
everyone,
hard to keep up to almost.
well, that's why like you can either stay stuck in your trauma and try to release it and do all that, or you can just like literally identity hop and let go of the past versions of yourself, or bring and repattern all the past versions of yourself into your now like consciousness. And then
I'm,
you're,
I'd be willing to say that we already do identity hop on a fairly regular basis. We just don't
yeah,
realize it, because
yeah,
so many people, like you said earlier, are out of touch. But this is exactly how the Mandela effect happens, right?
that
Like
is literally what it is.
because you're just literally hopping timelines.
Yeah.
Like, and so
It's so fun.
yeah, it is fun when you understand this, because
Yeah.
when you don't understand this, or when you're first learning about it, it's absolutely terrifying, because you're like, you start
Totally.
taking you like, oh, I did this to myself, and it's like, no, you didn't. It's part of, understand that with this, it's all part of the human experience.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do believe that we're at a point where we're going to see some really major quantum shifts, because I think we're at the part of the game where
Yeah.
we're ready to go on to the next level. And what happens in a game when you go, like, let's say Grand Theft Auto, for example, when you go into I'm only using this because that's one of the last games that I played like 15 fucking years ago.
Yeah.
And but you go, okay, it applies to any game. You complete the level. The game's still going. You're on to a new level, and all of a sudden, new parts of the world have opened up, and you're able to do new things in the next level, or in Super Mario Brothers case, a new world. Like you're going into a different world. Like it's just, if you actually can take all of that as a parable and understand the relation to that. I think I think it's the definition of a quantum shift is it's going to be like, oh, okay.
It's so funny because I use that reference of Super Mario Brothers so often in the frequency upgrade codes, like so often. And the greatest part about it is it actually can be as fun or as serious as you want it to, because your quantum world is just you expressed. So if you're funny, if you're silly, and that's also why it's so, it's psychology. We were just talking about this in my live a little bit. In psychology, that's why when children, with behavioral like issues, they bring in play therapy because they're able to get them out and in their actual like field of creativity, and then they're able to like function in the world. And that's what I do in the frequency upgrade codes, is like teach you how to be the badass quantum being that you are, and then level up with play with how do you talk to your angels, how do you want to repattern your money, quote, money blocks that aren't even money blocks, it's relationship blocks with yourself because you don't even know who the heck you are. And when you like start doing that play, it's like you can be as serious as you want. If you want to be super serious, amazing. If you don't want to be super serious, like what is your version of fun?
Yeah, stop.
Yeah,
That's everybody's biggest problem is having an external view on how what you should be doing. I make the comment like, don't take life too seriously because you'll never get out alive. But that's me, and that's why, it's hard to have conversations about like what's going on with people that are so out of touch with themselves, because it's like you're gonna you're gonna say something that is gonna make sense to you. And what makes sense to you doesn't necessarily make sense to me, and that's okay. There's no judgment whatsoever. It's just like I'm a lot like you now. It's just like I can okay. I need the answer for someone. Where do I go for that? Oh yeah, that's right, within. And next thing you know, it fucking shows up.
Right? Like what the hell? Like.
But I think that's where, like, again, why we're ready to and are at a level where we're gonna upgrade. I've referenced this probably before in our chats, but I mean I've referenced this a couple times this week, and I because a lot of people are feeling it right now, because I mean there is a heavier energy while more and more people wake up, and they're in the stage of waking up where they're learning that everything's fucked. And that's okay. Don't worry. You'll get through it.
Don't worry. You'll get through it. You will get through it. We've all been there.
It's all part of the process. It's part of the experience. Try not to take it too personally. Try not to blame anything or anyone, because it's not about that. It's just about the experience that we came here for. But if we're talking about it, like in a 3D to 5D way, that gets talked about a lot, and I think there's some limitations to that. But if we're talking about it in that way, I've referenced it as a caterpillar to a butterfly, right? Caterpillar is up, down, left, right, very limited in what it can do. That's 3D. Butterfly being 5D, you can kind of go all a little bit
literally go everywhere.
Go through hop on different timelines.
Yeah.
But to become a butterfly, you need to actually the caterpillar needs to literally go into a fucking cocoon and die. I would imagine that's a fairly uncomfortable process, and that's kind of what I relate to what is going on right now. It is the uncomfortable process of evolution, because change doesn't happen when you're comfortable. And I think for many prior generations, we've gotten a little bit too comfortable, and that's okay. That's fine,
And I was just thinking, like, a lot of, because like my own experience, and this is like what I lead a lot of people through, is like you have to become so rooted and confident in yourself that being uncomfortable, like you welcome being uncomfortable. Like you're like, the resistance is a portal. You feeling uncomfortable does not mean you're not safe, because you have the whole quantum realm backed up. And when you like shift your awareness and your consciousness, you're like, am I uncomfortable? Yeah. Does this have to be as uncomfortable as I'm making it? Because that's, I think, a big thing too. And it's like, we want to get out of the uncomfortable, but it's like, if you can move through feeling uncomfortable so much quicker. So a perfect example of this is childbirth. There are people who have completely pain-free childbirths, and then there are people that feel like they're raging and dying. And I'm not saying, either like whatever, but I'm just saying that like how is it that you can view like the most, quote, most uncomfortable experience births forth an actual living being? And how come they can go through childbirth literally not experiencing any pain, but this person over here is like raging with pain? And that is just like a perfect testament to be like, how are you viewing your uncomfortable situations? Because I can tell you that I have become a completely different person in viewing uncomfortable situations. And it has absolutely transformed my identity to move through levels. I feel like I've gone through 50 years of identity upgrades in 2 weeks. Like, I
Yeah.
literally feel like I've gone through lifetimes of identity upgrades just because I chose that I was completely fine being uncomfortable. And then it's like you repattern your neural pathways with actually realizing that you have a lot more control than you think. And I don't even want to use the word control. I want to use the word that you have so much more power and to change your timeline to a
Yeah.
different timeline within the same timeline.
You don't need healing.
No.
You need to detach yourself from the identity that thinks you do.
Yes. And that's why detachment is so powerful. And I feel like we've been taught this version of detachment. It's like, manifest, to manifest, you have to detach from the outcome. But if you're like an anxious, attached person, then that is literally impossible for you. So you have to become rooted in yourself to then no longer actually look at the outcome separate from you. Like if all things exist now, if that is already existing within you somewhere, then the outcome of it is inevitable. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
But you have to really super glue yourself to that neural pathway, to that like existence.
You can't just think, oh, this is going to happen, and then let it go, and it's never going to happen, and it's just going to magically happen.
Like,
no,
that's,
you got it.
No.
It's putting it out there. Like, yeah, no, this isn't going to happen. It's already done.
It's already happened. Like, it already is.
I stopped manifesting. I just decide. It's like that's it, and it's all right. It's done, but it's not like that. Yeah. It's like saying it's not just do that and set it and let it go, and it's just gonna magically show up, because that's like thinking that the beginning to a 1,000-mile journey begins with one step, or the first step, which. Yes, there's truth to that, but there's also the first step every single morning when you decide to continue on that 1,000-mile journey, and that's what we're on, is the 1,000-mile journey, and it's continuing to it's not faltering away and getting distracted from that knowing, from that deep intrinsic energy that we have within us.
Yes. Yeah, mic drop. Like, I don't.
Yeah, I was like. I don't know where to continue on with this. It's
that. It's literally all of that.
It's a conundrum, because it's not controlling, but it's releasing control of everything out there while just understanding the only thing you have control on is in here. And so, and I say mindset, but again, I've said this before. I believe because your mind doesn't exist in the physical. It literally doesn't. You have a brain, but you don't have mind. The brain, in a physiological standpoint, is making the neural connections and neural pathways that will change the way that you think. But your mind, I believe, personally, is a composition of all of your energy centers. That's what your chakras will make up, is your mind, and that's why alignment is so key. Whether it's your chakras, your physical body, energetic body, and your different bodies, it's
the things,
because that is the definition of what we talk about with hydrogen and what it does at a cellular level, and that is provide balance. That is the key to all of it. Balance. I was just at I'll say this, like the conversation sure has changed when it comes to hydrogen. When I did my demo on Monday at my gym, I realized when we're at the gym, I'm like, yeah, a lot of people when they go to the gym want to come and just go to the gym and get their workout done and get the hell out of here. But a lot more people were actually very interested in it. They're like, oh, hey, what's this? I'm like, oh, I've heard about hydrogen water and stuff like that.
Yeah.
One lady like, oh, yeah, I bought this machine a while ago. It's this Japanese water machine thing. I'm like, like thinking? She's like, no, I wouldn't buy that crap. I'm like, what? Did we just become best friends? I mean, I was just like, okay, this
immediate follow.
Yeah, this conversation is going to be great because, and you know, it turns out she has a Lourdes Hydrofix, and she's going to get the hydro because it makes the most sense for her to get the actual filtration and the hydrogen water right at her fingertips, which is awesome stuff. But the point is the overall conversation. The frequency has changed. The energy has changed, and
it's completely changed.
Not everybody has changed with it. Like I was just on a call before this. I do a Friday morning call with conscious people, and we're talking about how I'm like, I actually think the world did end in 2012. Like the Mayan calendar ended in 2012. Like that was like a big thing. I think it did because a few other calendars have ended since, and like there are always kind of right around these interesting shifts that happen. And I mean, I just from an energetic standpoint, things take some time to integrate.
They do.
This cube here, this is fucking cool, by the way. It has a bowl of magnets in it, and the bowl will spin from an RPM of 700 to 3600, and it creates when you use both of them together, so the positive and the negative. When you use both of them together, it creates the golden ratio or the phi array, and in between them. Oh yeah, trust me, Maria, this is like right up your alley. It's woo level 1000, but I can't put words to it. It fucking works.
That's amazing.
You feel it.
That's insane. I need that.
But you know,
real quick.
Yep.
At 2 p.m., so I have like 1 minute left because I have a call at 2. I didn't even realize how do we talk. This feels like we've been talking for like 5 minutes.
I know.
Literally feels like 5 minutes.
What were you saying earlier about how time doesn't exist?
It doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't because it's and we know this. This is the fun.
We do know this.
Time flies when you're having fun, right? That's like the one of the like. It's such an old. That's
literally the thing. Like time flies when you're having fun. Like hello.
And time doesn't fly when you're not. Here's a perfect example of it.
Yeah.
A 1 minute plank is infinitely longer than the 1 minute rest in between your 1 minute plank.
Totally.
It does make it makes total sense, but it's weird because it makes everything that used to make sense not make sense.
And that's why it's the portal, because it makes so much sense, and then it makes everything that doesn't make sense before like make no sense. It's like you know, what I meant about the energy integrating 2012 ending and stuff like that is it takes a little bit of time. With this is going 3600 RPM. It takes a little bit of time to get to that level, and so it's just and because we know time the way that we do, once you get to where like like we're ready to go, it can feel like it's taking for fucking effort. Because once you're like, hey, there's a new world that we could be in, and we're still kind of existing in weirdo world and stuff. It's like we're not weirdo world.
So it's not.
I love weirdo world.
Flying, you know, but at the same time is flying.
It is so flying
for us because it's like it is getting fun.
It's so
life's
fun.
Weird. Life's weird.
On that note, that's such a magical ending to our meeting that felt like 3 minutes.
Yeah, we're at almost 44 minutes here, and it was all very good stuff. And if we were to sum it all up, drink some freaking hydrogen water.
Hydrogen water.
You can balance your cells.
Quantum leap to your dream life. Easy peasy.
Quantum leap. Upgrade your levels. Thanks, Maria. Appreciate
I love it. I'll see you.
We'll do it again very soon.
Bye. Yeah, we'll talk soon. Bye.
Yeah.